Hey guys, welcome to Kris Jones Ask Me Anything episode number 68. Well, actually, this isn't Kris Jones, this is Chris Nash with a C, the right way to spell it. He'll tell you it's wrong with a K, but we know better. So I actually thought I'd introduce this video because, as you saw in the last episode, I was introduced as LSEO's president, and I'm really excited to be here, but I thought it'd be fun, and I think Chris thought it would be fun as well, if we switched this around and I did the interviewing today. So, if you don't mind,
awesome. Yeah.
Chris, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing awesome, man.
And we have Button here too. I don't know if you can see her on film, but Button's my dog, as we told you in the last video. So she's obviously helping out today. Looks a little tired there. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to do this. So let's start out. You kind of asked me, why I got involved, why I was interested in getting involved with LSEO. So I think the first question I'm kind of thinking of is, why is this the right time to get me involved, and what inspired you to reach out?
You're making this interview about you.
That's how it's going to start.
No, man. Like I said in the last.
Ask me anything.
No. To be fair, this is so sincere, man. I said in the last video, the truth, which is that when we worked together, when you were president of Refer Local, it was the most fun time of that company. It was where we were unstoppable, where I felt like no matter what goals I set, you reminded me that it's possible to set even higher goals.
Sure.
And I just felt like this level of friendship and trust and respect and kind of mutual admiration for both of our human potentials. And so in the back of my mind, when you left Refer Local, we never stopped being friends or anything like that, but we were doing different things. In the back of my mind, I just kept thinking to myself, I can't wait. I hope and I can't wait for an opportunity to work with this guy again. And I thought to myself, this is someone who raises my game. And honestly, the thing that I love almost more than anything, and this is totally selfish, is I just actually like spending time with you. I think we have fun.
We do.
Like just a couple days ago, I'm looking at the clock. I usually get home for dinner at 5:30, and you and I are in mid-conversation. It's like 5:35. I'm like, I'm going home to the doghouse, because when you and I get going, and we're talking about business, life, like raising our game, doing big things. And so I see my potential to be successful with LSEO magnified by virtue of you coming on as president and us being able to work together. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. I feel, not that I needed more energy, but I feel almost like an amplification of the dedication and commitment and energy that I have to the company. So I can't wait over these next couple of years to just blow the doors off and create as many raving fans as possible and serve beyond people's expectations for what's possible.
So I know you've talked about positioning LSEO and what makes the company special, but with my involvement in the business now, where do you see this going in terms of the trends in the industry, and why LSEO right now is positioned to be a market leader, and how we're doing that as a company?
So I was self-educated around digital marketing, like yourself. Got involved in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I used the digital marketing strategies of that time to help grow my family gourmet food business. Mm-hmm. And so I have never disconnected from the space. And like you, I am very sort of obsessive about things. When I decide that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I go all in, head first, and I hold myself to a really high standard. The reason I'm sharing that is literally I'm going on almost 20 years of experience in search engine optimization and paid search marketing.
Sure.
It wasn't till later, MySpace, and then it wasn't even then. It was after when Facebook emerged that the idea of social media came into the foray. And by then I had already had a decade of experience in digital marketing. But
sure.
I know a little about a lot, but I know a lot about how to help businesses leverage digital marketing to grow their business. I would stake any claim that I'm an expert and that I know what I'm doing.
Right.
So with regard to LSEO and like where this is going, you know, earlier this year, I had an opportunity to spend about 3 months, like really almost I put myself in isolation to take a look at the LSEO product mix and say, how can we make it better?
Nice.
Are the products that we're offering the best that they could possibly be? And what I came out of that was a refinement of our product mix, where I think where we're at now is an extraordinary place. I think that we offer some of the most, some of the highest end products that are available in digital marketing. And it doesn't come from, you know, an agency that's only been around for 2 years. I've been doing this for 2 decades. So really excited about how these products are going to be able to help businesses. But specifically, I would say that when it comes to search engine optimization, you know, Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin on this idea of building a better search engine by using the idea of academic research, works cited. So like when you cite an authority in a publication, that apparently they knew that was important. Like that didn't happen by accident. So the Google algorithm back in 98, 99, when they did their dissertation, 97, was about that analysis of how many links were pointing into a particular website and the quality of those links. And there's some nuances beyond that, like industry niche and others. But there's probably nothing that I've studied more than that. I was chairman of Internet Marketing Ninjas, the world's #1 link building agency. In fact, they're so good that they have a waiting list, which means LSEO could do that work. But Jim Boykin, my good friend who I spoke with last night, is a warrior, and he knows what he's doing there. And I was able to work with him for 3 years and learn from that. And so I think that our SEO product, particularly around link acquisition using premium content as our sort of linkable asset that we use to earn links for our clients. It's the content that speaks to the publication. No link buying, none of that stuff.
Well, we both know that is the single most important thing that Google looks for.
Yeah.
They want quality content above all. I mean, everyone's heard the expression content is king, but I think it has a different meaning because it's actually quality content at this point. So you can't basically
Absolutely.
spam the engine in any way now because you're going to get caught.
Exactly.
So that's actually one of the main reasons that I really wanted to get involved in this project with you and work on LSEO. I've witnessed what you've done in the SEO world and think that aligning yourself with a company that does that is super smart.
Yeah.
So to me, it's the greatest use of your own experience and assets already to push forward. So that's why I think it makes the most sense for me.
Yep.
I want to throw a curveball at you a little bit here. We probably are both decent at self-promotion and speaking in a positive way about ourselves. And
why are you smiling as you ask
Plus, I can't. I'm excited about it.
Go ahead.
This is something that when I used to interview for my previous companies, I would ask in every single interview, and I love the question. And what I would say is, when I ask you this, don't give me the kind of
Did
answer.
my publicist approve this question?
No, they would never.
Emily, did you approve this question?
They would never. So what do you think is one of your true weaknesses?
Oh, I hate this question.
I know you do.
No, go ahead.
But I think people appreciate the rawness of an answer like this. And to me, it also demonstrates. Listen, it's going to be a positive anyway because we both know that recognizing your weaknesses in the first place is an asset. So anyway, that's
all
the
right.
question.
Here it is.
Fire one at me.
So it is. I become emotionally connected to things often, and that's hard. And I have not had to experience this with LSEO, knock on glass, but like laying off or whatever, or having to fire or whatever. But I will tell you that over the course of my career, I've had to do that, and it's been some of the low points in my sort of like, just experience. And so here's why it's a weakness. Because back in 2008, most people will remember when the economy crashed as a result of subprime mortgages and housing just being bloated. While Pepper Jam at that time was literally slaying the dragon. I mean, our growth rate was breakneck. Everything was amazing. there was a time where our clients just didn't have the money to pay us, and it created this situation where I was part of a YPO group, and during YPO I brought it up. I'm like, everybody's letting go of people and stuff. Should I look underneath my own hood?
Yeah.
And this was a really reflective and introspective time for me. I didn't even want to think about laying anyone off, but I remember one of the folks from that meeting looking me in the face and saying that, Kris, being a nice guy is great. It's probably your greatest strength and your Achilles heel. And he looks me in the eyes, and he was really referring in terms of being nice. I get emotionally connected, dude. I want people to grow. I want them to become the best version of themselves. That's who I am. That's my calling, right? But he looks me in the eyes. I'm not going to say his name because that group is pretty confidential. Sure. Looks me right in the eyes, and he says, even though that's your Achilles heel and your greatest asset, he said, greatest asset, dude, he said, leadership is not a popularity contest. Leadership is not a popularity contest. So I've struggled over these years with just building, it's not that I don't want to build close relationships with people, but there's got to be a church and state between, building successful businesses and, creating relationships with your teams. And so, I struggle with that, and every once in a while I find myself hurt, where if an employee resigns for whatever the reason, I sometimes take that personal.
Of course. Or
if I let someone go, I have to let someone go. I find that to be a very, very difficult time.
Okay. I can appreciate that. I think that I think it's human to feel emotionally connected to a process like that, but you hear it time and time again when you have to make the decision. Mm-hmm. You also don't want to keep the company going in a position where you're actually risking the entire employee base. So it's interesting because you're connected to a lot of different businesses and a lot of different projects. Mm-hmm. What do you do to juggle that, and how do you maintain focus on an individual either company or project you're working on without spreading yourself too thin? I think that for those of us, and by the way, that's an answer that probably everyone can relate to, not just in business, but in your personal life. Yeah. How do you do it, essentially?
So, again, I've gotten better at it, right? So I'm not perfect at it. Some may say during certain times that's another weakness, which is just taking on too much.
Sure.
Honestly, I hold myself accountable to where I spend my time. And so I don't make decisions lightly. If I'm going to make a decision, I'm going to do whatever I can to make that decision a good one. And so, I've talked about in many of my AMAs and even some speeches and whatnot to colleges and whatnot is this idea of just effective time management. Sure. It's amazing, how much more time we have to accomplish things when we're focused on the things we care most about. And I've really refined that, not over the last 3 months, the last
years.
Yeah, 8 years. I have never missed RPM, the rapid planning method.
Sure.
When I adopted that,
I'm assuming you've spoken about that.
Yeah, I've talked about rapid planning method in previous AMAs, and dude, of course, I'm not perfect, but I really have not missed that hour of time with myself every week, taking a look at what the tasks that at
Sure.
hand, people who want to meet with me, people I want to meet with,
of course.
Things I want to accomplish. That hour or so that I spend with myself every week, therein, and that process that I go through, therein lies the answer to your question of how I'm able to juggle so many different things. I said to you earlier today in a meeting downstairs at LSEO, I said, hey guys, I have no shortage of ideas. It's all about me deciding what I'm going to focus my energy
Sure.
on. That's another reason why I don't overinvest in ideas. I invest in decisions, and when I make a decision, I hold myself accountable to it.
That's fair. I think that, when I look at that process, I think it's the one mistake. If you ask the most successful people in the world how they accomplish what they do, so many of them will tell you, in my opinion, that they make a plan for it. And that's, I think, I don't think people wake up and make a plan for their day. They just go at it.
Yeah.
And then they start putting out fires. And I think the people that actually are successful plan for what they want to accomplish on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. And you obviously make progress there. So
one quick thing, like, and I've never done a video on this, but for the audience here is, and maybe I'll do a future AMA, is the importance of your environment, the importance of your surroundings to productivity.
For sure.
Like making sure, like doing a gut check on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Like, is my environment primed for productivity or is it not? I'll leave it at that, and I'll come back to that in a future AMA, but I think that's part of it too. Like, I remove myself from environments that don't allow me to be productive. I literally, like the loft that we're in right now is like my sanctuary. Like, you know, for the most part, you know, you have a key and some people have keys, but people knock on the door. Like, this is my, like, I'm up here being as productive as possible. So I think that there's a whole AMA on this idea of making sure that your environment is conducive to
I agree.
productivity.
I actually think that people, they hold on to their destructive environments too long. They hold on to their relationships too long. And I find that people oftentimes, like, there's somebody in their life that's really holding them back, and they have a hard time disconnecting from that. And I'm guilty of it myself in the past. But that's a very similar thing. I think that's why company culture has become so important, especially in the startup and entrepreneurial community. Yeah. When you see that culture becomes a really primary source of inspiration for a business that's launching. And that's why you find much different, I think, cultures in those kind of environments. So, again, I like to jump around. I kind of want to pick your brain on some other things too. You know, we have different domestic lives. But what's your favorite part about being a dad?
Wow. That was the curveball. The other one was a softball.
It was too easy, right? Yeah, you're too
oh
good
man,
at the
dude! I'll tell you what. I love when my kids are doing their thing. So like going to soccer games and watching Jackson and Lauren out there on the field. This season, Lauren is standing out. She's scoring more goals than her brother, and her little brother Jackson is a prodigy. This kid scored 13 goals in one game last year. So just going to those games and watching them in their element. Right. My older son, Kris, same thing. This kid is a total athlete and a star little boy. But I'll tell you, it was last year where he was cast as the lead in Mice and Mozart, or Mozart and Mice. No, I think it's Mice and Mozart, at Wyoming Seminary. Right. And I had helped him practice his lines. The kid is like super brainy, and he memorized his lines, no problem. But he had told me that he had a solo in it, but he wouldn't sing for me. Until the night
he wanted to surprise you with it.
Dude, I'm sitting in the audience there with my family, and KJ, Kris Jr., gets up on stage and just like, oh my God, like, where'd he get that? You didn't get that voice from me. You didn't get it from Robin, because she tries to sing too, not good. But this kid was just great. So seeing my kids in their element, and all three of them are super confident, dude. That is like, there's nothing like that. Right. Yeah. That's my favorite thing about being a dad.
I can appreciate that. And you probably leverage, I would guess, in terms of balancing the things in your life. And that's I think another thing that, you know, whether you hear it from Tony Robbins, but to have the appropriate balance. Do you build that into your rapid planning method?
I do. I absolutely.
To make sure that you're accomplishing the personal component?
Yeah. Whenever I talk about RPM, even on these videos, I feel like I don't pay enough respect to the question that you just said. I absolutely, unequivocally treat the things I want to accomplish in my personal life, arguably first. Right. Like getting home for dinner every night and doing, you know, saying grace and eating with my family is one of my goals. So it's like work doesn't come before that. Like that's first and foremost. You know, taking my kids to school every morning when I'm not traveling somewhere. That's something I do. That's just the assumption. So the answer to your question is yes, I leverage my time management system, RPM, to focus quite a bit. It reminds me every month to send my wife flowers. I mean, say, the guy has to remind himself to send his wife flowers. Well, guess what, guys? Guess who sends his wife flowers every single month? And guess who I also send them to? My 7-year-old daughter, man.
That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty special.
Thanks.
All right, let's bring it back to LSEO because we have some really cool things that are on we're up for some awards. So I want to talk about that. I want you to tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an opportunity to showcase what the company is pretty well known for. But tell me a little bit about that.
So this is like I am like so stoked because last year we were shortlisted for the Landy Awards. That's the award ceremony in New York City that's put on by Search Engine Land and SMX. Super prestigious. You know, even getting shortlisted was awesome. We did not win an award last year with the Landys. We're up for 2 awards this year.
Nice.
For a client of ours in New York City called the Manhattan Cryobank. Last year, we also were named a finalist for the U.S. Search Awards, which is held in November in Las Vegas. And they sat us at the back of the room, and I went in there with 2 of the LSEO team, and I'm like, oh God, there's a 0% chance we're getting called up on
they're
stage.
sticking you in the back. So
I mean, we're basically in the nosebleeds, you know, whatever. But again, to be fair, so cool that we're getting recognized. Last year it was for the Commonwealth Medical College, Geisinger Commonwealth Medical College. But at the U.S. Search Awards, we won. Nice. We actually won the top campaign in the United States for a nonprofit company. Fast forward. This year, we are a finalist again at the Landys, as I mentioned, for two in 2 categories. So we're shortlisted, and then for the U.S. Search Awards, which you're going to be traveling out there with the team.
Absolutely.
We will be. We're up for 3 awards, including the top full-service integrated agency in the country. So I don't expect to win any of them. I don't. Listen,
apparently when you don't expect it,
you
get a better result.
The fact that we're all going to be there and we get to put on our suits and tuxedos and do our thing, but So anyway, we've gotten recognized by a number of publications like Clutch, Top 10 SEOs, and others who've at different times ranked us top 5, top 10 SEO companies in the country. So we're part of the conversation. I do a lot of public speaking on the topic, as folks know. I'm actually managing the local SEO track at the upcoming PubCon.
Awesome.
And so I've got like 8 or 9 different panels underneath my track chair status. And then I sit on like 3 or 4 panels. So I've got like a lot of work to do to prep and then get ready for that. But, LSEO is doing some really, really cool things. I can't wait to get you on the speaking podium so you could talk about those early days of pay-per-click on GoTo.com and Overture for all about dance, right?
Those were the easy days. Oh, at least
I hear you on that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you could put your business on the map in a day.
I know.
So anyway, I'd like to wrap it there. I think it's really exciting to be connected here. I can't wait to actually be a part of more of these and to really get myself out there, more in video like this. It's cool. It's exciting, and again, thank you for having me. And this is Kris Nash, Kris with the C, signing off. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Sweet.